texting off white. All right. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully notifications went out. We'll see. Let me get this set up. Hey, Malibu, what's going on? Okay, did y'all get notifications? Mr. So everyone got notifications now, but not earlier. What's going on, Mr. Rita? What's going on, Malibu? Hey, Izzy. Missed you too, Malibu. All right, let me get this shared up. Hey, I almost called you Oscar. Katie. Miss Katie. Just donated 1111. Okay, what you want from me, girl? I'm good. I woke up early. See, I know I can kiss some of you. I miss y'all too. I miss y'all too. Long ass holiday. Readjusting my brain from holiday. Hey, hey, hey. I want to give you FYI. Check your mailbox on Tuesday and Wednesday. Sent you 2 decks of you. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Malibu. I appreciate you. My daughter woke me up. See, y'all don't get no breaks. Not from me and not from the kids. All right, you send me 1111. You say I don't understand how she could go to sleep at midnight and still wake up at 6 a.m. Early riser is the weekend. She's got to get active. Oh, also my night buy is now suddenly active too. See, I don't know what's going on with YouTube sometimes. Strange and unusual behavior. Strange and unusual. All right. Miss Charita, what you want, girl? Also, how are y'all doing? How y'all doing after holiday? That's what I'm trying to know. Catch me up. She's like early bird catches the first worm. Catch me up, y'all. How are y'all doing after holiday? How was your holiday? I hope it went well, relatively. Malibu. I finally quit my job. Oh shit! You finally quit your job, Malibu. I'm proud of myself. I'm very proud of you too, girl. You did it. I know it's been a long time coming. I keep it trying to adjust this fucking thing. I'm waiting for this mic to punch me in the face. Quiet holiday. Okay, Izzy. Quiet. Peaceful though. Peaceful quiet or like quiet you in your head quiet. I got a new job. Yo. Yo. See, yeah, congratulations, Izzy. Yeah, that's crazy. That's some crazy shit. Like I said, I hope everybody's holiday went relatively well as it could have. Plus, they were playing with my money. That's what I mean. Playing in your face, playing in your money. You got to get the fuck out of there. January 1st, exactly. See, you could have quit on April Fools. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. Congratulations, Mr. Rita. So you want a general. I love people. I just don't love it. It feels like I don't have a purpose. Yes, and finding a purpose. Finding. See, here's the thing. It's like satisfaction will work. Can it can make or break you, but also at the same time, if you have a life outside of that shit, you make it interesting. that's where you're gonna find the most substance. But when you feel like your work doesn't respect you, don't want you there, or in some type of way it drags, and you feel depressed when you get home type shit, deep depression, I think it changes with the way you think about it. Okay. And I'm not saying that for all bad jobs. That's just not the situation. Sometimes you really do have to quit and find something else. But I truly feel like it comes from a place inside of you and the way that you think about it. Right. So I wanna get to you, Malibu, as well. So let me do Mr. Rita. I just got the part time. Okay. I'm gonna start a business. Yeah, girl. Yeah, girl. He said those darn planets, Izzy. That's exactly how I feel. Yeah. See, it's like when you hit that deep depression, either the job is wrong or there's a thought that's wrong type shit. And I'm not saying that you're wrong for feeling the way that you do. There's nothing wrong with feeling unsatisfied because that's natural with everything you have been through, especially you, Malibu. So I just want to make that clear. There's nothing wrong with your feelings. You're allowed to feel unsatisfied. Too exhausted and drained at the end of the day. It was never a never ending cycle of just bullshit. Yeah. See. All right. So you want a little general, Miss Charita. I dropped a card. What did I drop? Oh, air signs. So Aquarius, Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. Okay. So they talk about with finances. They talk about you have so many different options to do for business. I feel like whatever you've stacked in your belt over these past couple of years has been crazy, right? It's been crazy. I feel like the it scared you initially to be like, well, right now I have not as much security as I want to have, right? But then I also see you being like, well, even though I don't have the security, there's something like it's like something bugging you. I want to say it's self worth. Okay, yeah, because everything that's talking here is self worth. It's like, and we kind of I feel like everybody in this type of group can kind of benefit from this reading. I'll just a tad, but I do want to clarify this is for Miss Charita. If you feel like it vibes with you though, take it. Right, self worth. Okay, do you matter outside your job? Do you feel like you matter? Do you feel like the amount of money you make is more important than your life, than your health, than your mental health? Do you feel like that is more important than you? Do you feel like your sense of security only comes from the finances, right? Or does it come from you also making yourself feel satisfied and content in some type of way? And that's not just to do with spending your money the way that you want to, or spending the money on a car, spending the money on a house, because you can have all of those things. But when it starts affecting your mental and your physical and the way that you look at yourself on a daily basis, that's when you really do have to think about change, right? And that's why I feel like you're trying to sort through the pieces of like, what job could I make for myself that would make me or regard me a little bit higher, right? Starting your own business, yes, that's higher. That brings like a sense of self-assuredness, and that the business falls back on you at the end of the day. So you're like, okay, cool. But then also in between that, you're like, how can I service myself while also servicing others? I started grinding my teeth at night, so I knew it was time to go. Yeah. So they're talking like primarily though. They're also talking about attention span with you, and I think this is key. They say something that you won't get bored of, something that you won't sit there and be like hating on yourself because you just feel like it's just another job. You want to make it special in some type of way. There's something to do like. For whatever reason, I just picked up on husbandry. And maybe that's just because you have a daughter, so you take care of your babies and stuff. Like you take care of your baby. Maybe get stuck doing husbandry, doing the shit around the house type shit, and you're just like sitting there. It's like, how can I make that into something that is useful to me? Like, I don't want to be stuck doing that all the time, but then there's also something to do with like finances in that area. So maybe it's cleaning. Maybe it's a cleaning business. Maybe it's a babysitting side. Husbandry. It's like doing up the house. It's like doing up the house. You know, something to do with cleaning, potentially. Something easy to start out with. Or easing yourself into it. You do talk, like, I feel like there's this self-talk that you have with your physical body, your physical self, where you're like, well, how can I also still incorporate that into my work? Yeah, because they're talking about, like, how can I still be active? Because my brain gets bored so fast, and so does my body. My body gets bored. It starts cramping. I start getting sore. I hate sitting down. I hate sorting shit because I'm sitting there just fucking looking into the files like, this is boring as fuck. I hate this shit. Or you're like writing shit down. And you're like constantly having to adjust. It's that ADHD. It's that ADHD. But you want something active. Hey, Neil. Always glad to see you back. Hey, what's going on with you? How was your holiday? Okay. They also talk about this situation with the baby daddy. Okay. And that, yes, you will be guaranteed some finances there, but it's also something to do with healing from this situation. Okay. Obviously, like I said, it's been so long. It's been such a long time coming that this situation it's taken like so much time out of you. It's taken so much energy out of you. I think like a lot of your renewed energy comes from good news on that point, right? On the fact that, like I said, everything will go through, and that's within the next couple of months. So, but they're also talking about the healing afterwards, the aftercare, right? The aftercare. What do they want to say about that? What do they want to say about the aftercare? So they say the aftercare is gonna be more or less like, it's not like I said. I don't think you're defensive when you're dealing with new people or romantic situations. It doesn't feel like that. You are protective of yourself, but it doesn't feel defensive to me or mean or benign in any type of way. But it does kind of feel like turn off your you turn off your emotional side to people please. And though sometimes, like, that's a great thing to do, especially when you're first talking to somebody, you're in the first talking stages, in the first 3 months or something, first couple of months for something. Sometimes motherfuckers talk for a damn year, you know what I mean? And, like, that seems like, nothing to some people and a lot for others. But they really do talk about you expanding on your emotional side, taking care of your emotions, expressing them, finding a way to express them, whether that be through something creatively or talking and speaking with somebody. So they do talk about like that within romantic relationships too. You're really gonna have to work on that side because you want to be hard on people. Like, you want to be hard. You want to be like kind of the fiery, spicy, passionate personality, but then you also want to have some sort of a sensitive side to yourself. Okay. And you can keep that to yourself up until the point that person becomes actually genuinely important to you. And you're like, oh shit, I'm in love with this motherfucker. Oh shit. So that's something they're saying you want to work on, even privy to getting into a romantic connection or a romantic relationship. Okay. So they say working on that, especially with this whole baby daddy situation going on. That's what you should do. Just can't take when motherfuckers lie, but lie like I'm stupid. Then I'm putting my hands on you. See, that's exactly what we want to avoid, though, because we don't need to see you in a jail cell when you got a whole baby. You know what I mean? We don't want to see you behind bars as some nigga is petty as fuck. But also at the same time, why even bother? Why even bother when you could just walk away and leave that shit to the trash, right? Leave that to the harpies, the vultures, type shit. Leave that shit hanging. And you don't even gotta waste your breath on them. You don't even gotta get like pumped up on them type shit. You just walk. But like having the confidence and the nerve to do that, I know you will, and I know you can. It's the principle. I know. Okay, I know it's the principle, but it's also like you gotta keep in mind that like the damage that other people do to your mental and emotional through time.
especially when people was putting their hands on you, and when people was talking to you crazy, right? Through time, let's just say through time, because I know this is a family curse type situation. I know this is the family drama. You know what I mean? I can see that in the cars too. They be talking about like, oh yeah, generational curses. It's like breaking generational curse, right? That takes you right back to that era of yourself that you dislike the most. Okay. And I'm not saying to be just in your soft girl area. You gotta stand up for yourself. But like I said, you do not want to keep going backwards. Okay. You do not want to keep going into that state of being triggered by people. You don't have to. You don't have to sit out there and be like, remorseful in any type of way for anything that you've done in the past. But you definitely don't want to be going back there. Okay. Yeah, no, because you're gonna have dudes all over you. That's what I. That's what I see for this year. I see a lot of people wanting to get to know you and wanting to tap that shit. They're wanting to get into your psyche and pick your brain, and they are gonna. Some of these dudes are gonna do it in the worst way possible. And like I said, I'm just going to kind of gently suggest that you just shut these motherfuckers down immediately, whether that be blocking or just be like, "You're nasty." Next, don't re-trigger yourself and put yourself back into that state of mind, because it is so stressful, and you just separated from a bad work situation where you wasn't being treated right. Any of their money, complicated. Because I see one with children. Okay, one's got kids. One has a ex-wife. One has an ex-wife. And I also see a water sign. So Taurus is what I pick up on big time. Stubborn sign, but also Virgo and Taurus can go very, very well together because of their focus on stability. Okay, their focus on the stable home life, right? That can go very, very, very well with you, unless the motherfuckers broke. Let's see. Say this: they're for the streets, but they have money. So they're a cheater, but they have money. Okay, this is the Earth sign. This is the Taurus. They're for the streets, but they have money. I mean, what's the worst? What's the worst that could happen? Just going on a couple dates, you know what I mean? Take yourself out on his tab. I don't want men that would spoil me. Taurus will, absolutely. You're exactly right, Roja. Men cheat for less. Not on, man. I'll take it. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Celebrate yourself a little bit. You could be Miss Independent out there until you find a man with actual genuine confidence, right? And that guy, I don't see him coming this year. I see a lot of sexual situations, okay? Potential sexual situations. As if you even want to put yourself in a situation to where you're going to be touched by a man. So that's what I mean. That's what I see. He said, do you think I should file for custody or wait until my baby daddy gets locked up? Let's see. Well, first of all, you already know the answer to this, right? You already know the answer to this, but I'm going to look for you. That's what I be feeling. It's like you already know the answer. I'll still spend his money. Yep, spend the money, spend the time. If he's going to waste yours. I wouldn't judge, like I said, don't judge everybody, like every tourist like that just because I told you. Okay, baby. Don't be like, oh shit, this nigga's a tourist. So he's got to be a player. You just got to do a check-in, baby. You know the moves. You know how they move, okay? All right, so the answer is file for custody. Go through the proper channels. File for custody. Don't waste time. Like, all of these things are kept on record. Okay? They're all kept on record. Hey, Owl, what's going on? But all these things are kept on record. You're going to want to file. Okay? Yeah. They said it's like a long motherfucking list that's going to get him packed up in jail. And a part of that, I feel like it's going to do with kids, with children, with your kid. So you really do. You need to keep a record. And you do need to file again. Okay? Yeah, they say there's no loss in that either. You're not going to lose in that. Yeah, Ace of Viking Hearts. You're not going to lose in that. The Hermit. That's your card. You're not going to lose in that. They say independence. Okay? See, my damn Delphi. This damn dog. This wooden ass. This motherfucker's haunted. I swear to God. I know I don't have it sitting in the best position, but this bitch falls even when I have it in a secure position. I don't understand why. You need to hurry up and go on to get. I know. Okay. I know. But you know how the system is. But then also at the same time, what you need to do with yourself, right? In preparation. And I'm going to make this about you and not him. Because I don't, we talk about him, whatever, you know what I mean? It's a whole situation. And I know it's something that stresses you out. So let's redirect to you. Let's redirect to you. And what you want out of the world. Because you making your own business, girl. It's King of Hellfires. You being your own boss. I think he's running from the law, honestly. I think we talked about this last time, right? But I will clarify that yes, he is hiding. Not running, but he is hiding from the law. He's hiding. Not running. Like hiding though. He gave me the I have 50 spare phones type situation. Holds in different area codes so he can bounce back to back, bed to bed, pillow to pillow. He gave me that. Go to mama's house, hide at mama's house. You know his parents will ride or die for him too. Even if y'all go through a tough situation and that's their granddaughter, right? They still gonna ride for him. For whatever reason, even if they didn't support his choices. You know what I mean? All right. Dreams you've been getting. Boom. The Hangman in the reverse, because you were feeling stuck, because you were feeling very deflated. Okay? You were feeling very deflated. You were feeling defeated. You were in a very strange space when it came to not only your finances, but also emotionally. We talked about the feeling of I don't even feel like work is work anymore. I feel like it's weight on my back. Okay, they talk about weight on the back, or specifically talking about the back here. I need to get this off my chest type energy is what they talk about. They say Page of Hellfires in the reverse. 6 of Viking Wands in the reverse. So that's talking about wanting to leave, wanting to travel, wanting to get to where you need to be. It talks about getting a home, an apartment, that sort of thing. 8 of Hellfires in the upright. Yeah, so you're building something new. Okay. They talk about your dreams more or less being something about I don't know, it's hiding. These are maybe even the emotions and the feelings and the things that you're hiding from yourself. Okay? Hiding from yourself. Yeah. And now that they talk about that your concentration, I guess, is back on you, that your needs are going to be in priority. So you're already, whatever the dream consists of, they really be talking about your needs. Okay? Your necessities. They also talk about not promising anybody anything to do with your family. There's something to do with that too. I feel like this is something to do with your past, and also, like I said, wanting to still be a part of your family, even if they just don't know how to digest you. Okay? There's definitely a mental sickness here to do with the family aspect. And it has something to do with jealousy, it's disrespect. These people are going to come back up. Okay. But I also want to let you know that regardless of whether they're in your life right now or not, and in terms of how much distance you created with them, the gray area type shit, I'm going to say that it's complicated. I'll tell you what she wants real quick. Okay, I'll tell you what she wants, because I feel like that's kind of the situation. It's she's crying out for the drama, the effect. She wants you to react, everyone to react, and that's a condition that you both grew up in. It's reaction. It's trying to poke someone to react just to punish them afterwards, right? And so the emotional abuse with that is something that I feel like you are still tackling. Is the being shut down before you even say anything. So that's why you speak louder sometimes when you speak into even strangers, right? You're so used to being shut down in some type of way, or so used to being like corrected, even though you're right. You're in your right, your own right. So they talk about narcissistic abuse, and healing from that as well. Okay. That's what they're talking about. It's narcissistic abuse all across the board. Okay. And this could just be one individual in your household that triggers it and causes it to be fucking volcanic and insane. You know what I mean? It only takes one narcissist to do that to a household. It does not take many or multiple, though you can have multiple in this situation. It only takes one. So there's something to do with like also being the parent of siblings, like always being the fallback to when somebody's in a bad situation, or to unhealthy situations. Someone's gonna try to pull you in an unhealthy situation, but you're gonna be pulled into another direction almost automatically, whether that be because you're focusing on your building your own business, or this could also be you saying no, and making that boundary even firmer. Okay, that's what they talk about. So whatever the situation may be, it's gonna be on some, like I said, narcissistic, abusive shit. It's just more abusive shit from your past that you gotta clean up and shut down. Okay, yeah. They talk about another positive thing that I kind of want to talk about is they say that you have a few different opportunities here with your new work endeavor. Okay, you have a few different opportunities. Your perfectionism, I think, sometimes gets in your way, where you don't believe you can do anything like in the creative zone. But they talk about creativity here within you, and that could be writing. Okay, that could be writing. They mostly talk about your voice. Okay, your voice is very relaxing to people. I'm the youngest, but all of them except my cousin depend and rely on me. Yeah. Make sure your cousin keeps you out that shit too, because I know she's more connected in those areas too. Like, she listens to it even though she don't want to hear it when it comes to from the family zone. But they really talk about like talking. They talk about women's mental in some type of way. Maybe it's not like therapeutic necessarily or counseling, but it feel like you communicating to a group, to like a group of people or a group of women, or maybe that's what you hire. She left. She don't speak to them for some reason. Like I said, I pick up on the fact that she tunes in way too much still. I don't know if that's because she has maybe one contact over there or one friend over there situation, in terms of like wherever your family's at, but she is more locked in than even you are. And I will make that clear. She is locked in more than you are, or whatever drama's going on. Even if she might not talk about it, I feel like it might get brought up. So I'm just saying, be careful of that, and make sure you cement the boundary that you're just like, I can't hear about that right now. You don't have to feel bad about anything. Obviously, when it comes, even if she's like kind of discussing the trauma of the situation, I want you to be very conscious of how you're feeling versus how she's feeling. And I know that's kind of like, well, shit, like, she's here and she's cool, whatever the situation may be, but I truly do feel like it's gonna trigger you in some type of way. So that's why I'm trying to let you know and bring you in and be like, you just kind of need to shut it down. But there's something to do with speaking here, and speaking to being a leader of women in some type of way. They really do talk about like being a tutor. Okay, a tutor sounds more like my other cousin. Not the, is some family member. I know that, and it's close family. You hear about it from the grapevine type situation. That's what it feels like. Okay, that's what it feels like. Sent a cash app. Thank you, Roha. I did see your cash app, baby. Let me see. So you did 1313 or 1333. But yeah, I would just be careful, Miss Trita. But yes, it feels like you're talking to young women here. Women, this could be, see, things that kind of pop in my mind, right? This is strange and unusual, because we talked about fitness a little bit. there may be an opportunity that pops up for you to be something like yoga or physical fitness in some type of way, but it's more a small group of women than anything. It's women. It's all women. I know that. I feel that strongly. I feel that very strongly. It's all to do with women. Okay. So I'm just letting you know that's what I see. Whatever you're doing is healing, whether it be a physical or a mental situation. But it's healing. It's energy healing in some type of way. It's not some fucking Reiki type shit. But really, y'all just like, you're in a group together type shit. I can see y'all sitting out. You know I hate exercising. I'm telling you, whatever this is extremely healing, whether it be for the body or the mental. Well, yoga ain't really exercise, is it? It's more like a peace of mind situation. I could do squats. But most definitely think about the effects that you want to have on other people, because you want to be in a leadership position and you are kind of like, you have that personality, okay? Where you could definitely be in a leadership position. Just keep in mind what type of space that you want to create in that, okay? So maybe it's not working out, but it's something to do with healing. I know that it's specifically talking about women's healing, women's health. So really looking to do Reiki. My cousin and her roommate are Reiki masters, and they want me to get into it. Maybe that's something you want to try and jump into. Okay, maybe that's something you want to try and get into. I'd be curious, you know, what type of healer that you could be when you kind of just like, no, you kind of lose a little bit of the perfectionism, right? And you fall into the creative zone, and you're just like in the zone type shit, instead of being so hyper fixated on how things have to be presented or be. Obviously you can do that with your space when you're into like Reiki and stuff like that. You can kind of change the space up and make it your own, but essentially when you leave that shit at the door, the profession, all the bullshit, what type of healer are you? I'd be interested in knowing, because I see it. You a woman, you are somebody who can lead women particularly, so that's what they say. All right. An exorcist, shit. After my baby daddy, I know I didn't do with demon. See, you know you're next. Not Nightbot. What? Nightbot banned you. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, Miss Rita. That wasn't me. That was Nightbot. Why did Nightbot do that? Oh, maybe it's because of all the emojis. Damn it. I gotta change the rules on that. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry, Miss Jarita. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh shit. Nightbot. What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm so sorry. Oh shit. Nightbot, what the fuck is wrong with you? After you make that funny ass comment too, you said I could be an exorcist after my baby daddy. I know how to deal with demons. See. Nightbot. I might have to change the rules on that motherfucker, because you just was sending fucking emojis, and I think it registered that as spam for whatever reason. It says 5 seconds. You should be able to talk in chat. What the fuck? Hey Malibu, welcome back. Okay, let me get on to the next read. I'm so sorry, Malibu. All right, Roja, you ready? Are you ready for your reading? Why the fuck would Nightbot gotta be that disrespectful? Hopefully the chat is moving here. Let me see what's going on with this thing. Okay. Sorry, the chat was freezing here. Let me move it back over. Here. Who the fuck is Nightbot? Not me arguing with a bot. Literally, all it's supposed to do is prevent people from coming up and spamming in the chat. It's our specific. You know how trolls come through. Like we had a lot. Actually, we don't have much troll issues no more. But something about the emoji sent Nightbot over the edge is stupid. I'm gonna have to fix it though. I'm gonna have to fix it. All right. What you want to know, Roha? What you want to know? What you want to know? Yeah, the trolls. What you want to know? But we did in the past. It was way more in the past. I think YouTube got a little bit like this much better. This much better at dealing with that shit. They still come through now and again. Time for the love spread. Okay, let's see what's going on with you. Someone's missing you. Someone's missing you. Missing your energy. I feel like you just got done with the nonsense and the disrespect. But yeah, someone's missing you. Yeah, you said, bitch, you nasty. Something to do with like emotional cheating or emotional manipulation here. Emotional coldness. It's like I don't want to. It's I don't want to like sleep with you or touch you type energy because you're nasty. Like because you whether you emotionally or physically cheated on me. There's something. Okay, here's where we're going with this shit, right? This is on some internal dialogue, okay? And I'm not gonna say that you spawning these creatures in because that's not the case. But there's something about you and some of your defensiveness and some of your hurt and your pain and your trauma for whatever reason you do have a tendency to draw in these types of people, and let me tell you why. Okay, let's look into it because I'm curious. All right, let's see what it is. Oh, I see. So here's what it is. Here's what it is. So you remind these niggas of your mother, or of their mother, of your mother. No, of their mother. You remind these niggas of their mother. Oh, these bitches. Danny. Okay, or these bitches. You remind them of a mother. Okay, that's what it is. You remind them of a mother, their mother. There's something to do here with how you take a parent perspective in a situation that is meant to be a romantic situation. And for whatever reason, you also have the tendency to like allow them to lean on you in that way. Okay, you let them lean on you. Like I said, I know there's the whole like love is romance. First month type shit. Usually in the first month, great, whatever the situation may be. It is what it is. Sometimes in the first week, the shit acts up, but most of the time, it's like the first month. It's great. It's wonderful. It feels, it's easy going. It's this and that. And then when you start smelling bullshit, that's where the defensiveness comes in. That's where the I don't want to say bossiness because it's not bossiness. It's more just like you're trying to protect yourself, right? You're trying to protect your emotions and your feelings, and so you almost like CIA motherfuckers out your life. I'm tired and I want to lean on somebody. Yeah, I get that. I understand that. However, here's kind of what I see too. When you start loving on somebody and feeling the vibe of love, there you do you accept too much fault. Okay. And this is where I'm going to say writing a list of the things that you want out of a partner or an individual is going to be really fucking important. Because when you go out there, I'm not saying you like wipe your mind and forget everything that's happened in your past, but you don't like to judge people. You like to do person by person situations. Okay. And like I said, you overall look a lot of the bullshit that comes through because you look at yourself and say, I've been through a lot of bullshit. I've done a lot of bullshit to people. And you think that for some whatever reason, that somehow they're above all the shit that they've done. That they're the same as you. Like they have done the work. They've tried to be better. They're doing this. They're doing that. They're trying to emotionally heal. You think that they're in the same space as you. Or they convince you of that. right? They convince you that that's the situation. I'm not saying you can read these people's minds. I'm not saying you can read these people's minds, but I'm saying you do give them the time. Okay. You're not going to know after the first day of talking to somebody. You're not going to know after the first week of talking to somebody who they are, how they are. And I'm not saying you have to. That is crazy. That's just insane. You know what I mean? People get fucking burnt out. Like, you get burnt out from the situation. You don't want to keep fucking dealing with beggars and choosers type situation, with hobosexuals and all that type of shit. Hobos type shit, where they sit up in your house and kick their feet up and type shit, and they think that they can manipulate you into a relationship in order to abuse you. But I feel them out. It takes time. Yeah, it does. It definitely does. Right? It definitely does. Like I said, I'm trying to pick more of the fear here. I'm trying to pick on the fears because there's like so many different quadrants of your life where you have been, and it, like I said, forgive me for being so blunt, where you have been failed. That I feel like, when you became your own parent and tried to heal your own self, that you also became everybody else's parent as well. You became all of these people's parent as well. Within that. And you need to be able to drop that hat of like, I want to take care of you. I want to do this. I want to do that. Okay. Maybe it's more realistic expectations. Okay. I think wasted time is my biggest fear. That's understandable. But they really do talk about, like, you just don't know how to drop that parent hat, but you have to. I have hella extra children. I love my family. Right. But they can't be, they're not a part of your family just because they're hurting. You know what I mean? When a kid's, obviously when you see a child crying out for help, it hits you somewhere, right? Where you're like, I got to help that child. But you can't heal the inner child of somebody who is like these people that you've been dealing with. They have to do that on their own. That's their own journey. That's not your journey. Okay. So them being dependent on you sitting there and be like, oh, what can I do for you? How can I help you? Can I help you with this? Can I help you with that? Or tell me about your emotions. Tell me about this. Within reason, yes, that's great. They're open about their emotions. They're open about who they are as a person, as an entity or whatever. But you kind of just go down this path of trying to heal them and fix them, and that just doesn't work. You know what I mean? You trying to parent them and be like, you have to view soft. You have to be soft from a different perspective. You say you want a soft life and you want to be soft, okay? So you have to view yourself in that light first. You have to treat yourself with more respect, more softness. You could be a confident ass motherfucker, but your insecurities, right? Your deepest insecurities. You say you have a fear of wasting time. I do believe you also have a fear of trusting others with your own emotions, right? Because you're like I said, I've been dealing with this shit my whole life by myself, right? By myself, for myself. That's it. That's all. I who has me? Who has my back? It's me. So to be soft, you're going to also have to be softer towards yourself. What do I mean by that? That can mean a lot of things. This means communicating to yourself how you feel before you do acts of service for others. Okay, you say, oh, I have a big family. When's the last time you did something for yourself? Like, and not feel guilty for it? When's the last time you've done something for yourself and not felt guilty for taking that time to yourself? Or immediately going back right after you get done doing something yourself, before you even process your emotions, okay? Before you even process what's going on with you, the hurt or the pain. Do you ever sit in that hurt, sit in that pain, feel it out? Like I said, treat yourself with kindness instead of thinking about other people, because that's really what it is. I usually go on, but when you go on vacations, what are you thinking about? What are you thinking about? Oh, this makes me feel good temporarily, and then a fucking when you get back home, you're like, oh, type shit. And I'm not saying it's like, oh no, now all the shit, now all the stress immediately comes back. Now I'm feeling this, now I'm feeling that. Like you feel good, you feel a buzz, right? Because like I said, there's temporary satisfaction. And be like, yeah, like I did a little vacation, I feel good. Like there were so many good experiences, but the reflection on the emotions is what you're missing within the romantic atmosphere. Okay, the reflection on you. Okay, putting yourself first is not being defensive, right? Putting yourself first is understanding what you want before you even approach the relationship life, right? So you might be like, well, I don't know what type of person you want, okay, but you have to kind of know. You have to kind of know what type of person you want. And writing that list, if you haven't done it yet, you need to, you should. What are the traits? And I want you to get real specific and detailed in that bitch. Like, what do I mean by real specific? Like, you writing a journal entry. Like, I want somebody to cry on when I'm feeling the stress from this situation and that situation. I want somebody to be my fucking hype man when I'm feeling down. When I'm looking in the mirror and I'm feeling like shit. You know what I mean? Or I woke up and I look like I feel like I look like a gremlin type shit. I want somebody to hype me the fuck up and make me feel good. You have to write these things down because it's so easy for you to forget. Like, and this is coming from a person who has a very similar, personality style in relationships. You have to remind yourself of what you deserve. You do. It's hard because, like I said, you're doing so many acts of service for other people. Okay, you're feeling things for other people. You're also assuming other people's emotions, which you should never do in a relationship. You do not assume their. Obviously, like I said, you can assume based off of actions, right? However, you should also ask people how they feel. You should say how you feel. Okay, you should say how you feel. You should be able to say, like, I feel like shit because of this situation, that situation, this situation, without it getting petty. And then you should also be able to ask that person, how do you feel about that? And how do we approach this? Like, it should be open communication, no? Like, that's exactly what you want. So write this shit down. Be specific. Be specific. As specific as you want to be. And you might feel like, this is fucking stupid, like, straight up. But just know that on that paper, if you're sitting there and you're like, well, I don't know what type of person I want, that means you have more work to do in self-fulfillment. It doesn't mean you have to go out and go back out in the dating pool and traumatize yourself again by finding the same type of motherfucker that also doesn't know what they want. You don't have to know exactly to the point. You know what I mean? Oh, they have to look like this or that. It's not about looks. It's about how they show up for you. Okay? That's what it's about. How are they going to show up for you? How do you want them to show up for you? How do you want the communication to be? And yes, you see, here's the thing. Like I said, you can actually, once you have a picture in your mind and also on a piece of paper, you can work on these things in a relationship because you're not perfect. And I'm not saying you're perfect. I'm not saying you're perfect. No one knows exactly what they want. Real hard. Nobody knows exactly what they want, but they should have a loose image in their fucking head. Only time you don't have a loose image in your head of what you want is because you had nobody to show up for you in your life. You have shown up for you time and time again, but you had no one do the same for you or respect you in the same way. Not in the way that you needed. Not in the way that you needed. Right? Not in the way that you needed them to be. You got an idea. I know you do. Write that shit down. I'm telling you right now, write that shit down. So I'm going to look real quick. Thank you, LP. And I'm going to get you in a second. But I'm going to look real quick to see what's coming towards you. Out of curiosity, let's look. Let's speak. No reciprocating stuff. Yes, it does. But also at the same time, what I think you should kind of take the pride in, for sure, and for certain, is that you are able to love others. You are able to guide others. You are able to be and show up as your true self, your true confident self, without caring what other people think. So instead of worrying about how they feel and what they think all the time, you need to worry about what you feel and what you think for once. And find somebody who matches that energy. It's not egotistical or narcissistic to think about yourself, to feel for yourself. It's not narcissistic. It's not narcissistic. It's not. A lot of people will say that. A lot of chronic gaslighters will be like, "Oh, you're a fucking narcissist for thinking about how you feel, for putting yourself first for one time in your motherfucking life." They will say that, but it's just not the fucking truth. People gaslight you because they're jealous. They're jealous. They're envious because they want that same respect for themselves that you have for yourself, or that you're going to have for yourself. You might not have it fully right now, but you're gonna once you grab that shit by the balls and you grip that shit, you're gonna find the right person or the right individual who will match that same energy, who will not let you sit in your hurt and your pain. You know what I mean? They will discuss it with you. They will communicate with you. They will help you crush your fears just by being there for you in a way that you've never had. Okay? And that's exactly what you need to be writing down in that motherfucking journal. Be specific to yourself. Right? Because, yes, there is a certain amount of healing that you had to do on your own and still have to do on your own. And you can still do that within a relationship. That you being there for yourself does not change just because you get in a relationship. It never should. It never should. I get lonely sometimes because I'd rather be alone than waste my time on men. And that's fine. Right? Being lonely is fine. Sitting in that feeling is fine, right? But also, I think going out to the dating pool, being confident in what you want, it's so much easier because you give less of a fuck about what petty bullshit people do to you. Because by that point, you're like, fuck you, okay, yeah. You want to fucking waste my time? Waste somebody else's fucking time. Like, you're gone. Bye. It is what it is. See ya. These Toontown ass, circus ass niggas, you can leave all that behind and not even think twice about it. You're not thinking about how they spited you or hurt you or whatever, because you have the confidence to back it up. You have the independence to back it up. I don't mind my solitude. If that's you for right now, then that's you for right now, right? And I'm not even going to tell you to pick a lane, because you know what you be wanting in the moment. You know what you're feeling in the moment. So, let me look. Yes, you're going to have some people hitting you up, even as recent as tomorrow. They say recent as tomorrow, the next 2 days. You're getting better at that now. I see that. So, next 2 days. They just been talking about, again, the whole envious situation. That people is envious of the type of respect that you have or you have gained for yourself, even if you feel like it's nothing and you're like, everybody should be like this. Not everybody's like this, obviously, and you know that. They talk again about, okay, move on for your own good. So, yeah, anything from the past, make sure you're moving on from it, okay? Make sure you're closing those connections out. It's super important. Because I think you kind of create rules for these people, but also they don't listen to those rules, and it can trigger you. It will trigger you, okay? They don't listen to those rules or your boundaries at all, right? At all. They don't listen to your boundaries, okay? And those are not the types of people that you want to be around, because they can also make you feel drained and tired and exhausted. You're like, well, I do kind of this is a situation where I kind of do let things move however they want to move. I go with the flow. But like I said, in these situations, you have to put your foot down and be like, yeah, this ain't it. Maybe they be hitting you up and texting you, sexting you, whatever the situation might be. It triggers you. It will trigger you. You know what I mean? Okay. So, yes, exes trying to come back. Exes trying to come back. I'm trying to get over that hump, because you don't need that. That is not what you need, okay? The past is going to interfere with the present, always. Okay, always. That is exactly how it rolls. Even if you left off on good fucking terms. I'm blocking everyone. Yeah, just you want something new that you never had before. Your other half type shit. Get rid of the pieces. You know, the fucking nasties. Clear the board. Clear the board. The side pieces and all that and all that bullshit. Like that's so like these people are so fucking extra. They run from anything that smells like fucking commitment because they can't even commit to themselves. So I can see you within the next couple of months getting in touch more with this sensitive side, this emotional side. I can see also you're gonna start trying another way of communication, yes, but then also there's something to do with your appearance. They talk about your appearance changing quite drastically. Okay, now whether this is just like you getting new outfits, you know, you maybe are wanting to go out a little bit and show off a little bit. Like this is a confidence. This is confidence. Yeah, this is confidence. They say that there's a Sagittarius on the way. Okay, this is a fire sign. This individual is confident. Okay, this is going to be new. Okay, this is going to be new. I'm going to estimate that around the middle of this year, that I don't think this is going to be a permanent person, but I think this is going to be a healthier person. Okay, healthier person to communicate with and talk to. The only reason why I say it's not going to be a permanent situation or a long-term situation is because it's more or less undecided. Meaning, you are the one that decides that. The other person is the one that decides that. I don't decide that. It's the tarot reader. You know, I can tell you exactly where you all would be at if you jumped into the connection and just fucking went from the hip, which is very unhealthy. You know what I mean? But I can definitely tell you that this Sagittarius is fire sign. Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries, but I really strongly feel Sagittarius, and they might just have that in a very, you know, fixed point in their chart. So the moon or the ascendant. This individual is also like a, you know, they seem quieter. My oldest finally passed her permit test. Yes, congratulations. Woo. She did it. I could see this individual not being like attention seeking whatsoever. They're pretty like busybodied, and they have a smaller personality or quieter personality. I'm not gonna say like smaller because at the end of the day, I feel like this person can open up around the right person. However, and they're not quiet in the term of like, oh, this motherfucker's gonna be quiet because they're doing some shady shit. It's more or less because they are just like, they are introspective and they're an overthinker. Why am I picking up on Scorpio too? Picking up on Scorpio, but they're an overthinker. They're like a chronic overthinker. Like they have a lot to work on too with their communication, but it's from a separate. I feel like it's similar, but it's separate. It's for a whole separate reason. Okay, they need to communicate their emotions because people can't read them. People can read your emotions, you know what I mean? Sometimes you bleed them out, and sometimes it comes off as the being a little catty type shit. However, this particular person is just quiet. Like I said, they're pretty fucking mellow, and they hide their pain. Okay, they hide their pain. You said my baby daddy is Scorpio. See, see. Okay, they hide their pain. It's easy for them to hide their pain. Okay. However, you need to prove to them that you're not just there for the opportunity to like come in and fuck their life up. It's very hard for them to want to break routine. Okay. Yes, I can be dramatic. Yeah, all this person wants is somebody who doesn't break their routine. They are looking for a life partner, so a wife. They're looking for a wife. They are. But they just don't want somebody to break their routine. It's like, I can include you. I can make time for you. I can do all these different things, but just don't break my routine. That's all I'm asking. Yeah, this is a new individual. Don't break my routine. Just don't do that. Hard for this person to manage their own emotional pain. Okay. However, this is kind of where you can kind of like inch in. And I'm not, like I say, you're not going to be this person's parent. However, if you model the correct behavior within the relationship of like being considerate, asking how are you feeling type situation, it only grows from there. You know, I feel like the biggest stagnation that you're going to get from this individual is when there's an argument. And that's a problem for you because you're going to feel abandoned if this person like leaves you or doesn't they don't respond to you. However, these are some things that you need to, I guess, keep in mind when something pisses you off or like when something challenges you. In that you can take as much time as you need to feel your anger, feel hurt, feel frustrated, feel the drama. Okay. But when you come back around, you need to be able to communicate it thoroughly and directly without also kicking somebody down. Because he's not somebody who can take that. He's, like I said, he's quiet. He's not somebody who can take that shit, though. Like, that is something that he will walk away from. He will walk away from that. You know, he just needs you to be honest. Okay, and not honest. Like, think about his feelings as well, but think about your feelings too. Like, you can do both. That's essentially what he needs to do as well. Going for my walk out, go for your fucking walk before you even pick up the phone to be mad about something with this motherfucker. Go for a fucking walk. Do your little rounds, your little walk. You know, I know he's gonna have some sort of a abandonment issue as well. However, this is kind of where it comes in clutch. It comes in clutch because at the end of the day, both of you are going to need time and space to process things and to heal. And when you come back around, y'all need to be able to sit in front of each other. No over the phone bullshit, no over the text bullshit, where you can sit down right in front of this motherfucker and air out your grievances. Let it simmer. Try your best not to raise your voice. Try your best not to raise your voice. Try your best. Okay? Or at least if you do raise your voice, try your best to sit a little further back on the couch. Not be all up in somebody's face. And go off and I'm trying to work on. I know you are. Like I said, I recognize that and I see that. I see that. You're working on it. I see that. Okay? But this is just the type of individual who will shut down and not respond. It's hard. I'm trying to be self-aware when I feel it rise. That literally, that you're already taking the steps to heal that piece of you, that part of you, if you're self-aware, if you're trying to be more self-aware. Figure out the emotions. Yeah, because it's not just anger, and it's not just you being dramatic. It's your feelings, and you know you shouldn't joke about that type of shit. Nor should it be something that where you're like trying to aim and hurt somebody else because that's all people have done to you. You know what I mean? That's what's up. That's what's up, bro. Huh? Thank you, guys. Thank you, Roha. I appreciate you. But yes, this new one is gonna be a Sag. Feels like Sag Scorpio energy, but I'm almost confident it's a fire sign. I feel that. I feel that shit. There's a sensitivity there. I do it best with my kids, and yes, this is where you need to separate though. Yes, you do it best with your kids because they are your babies, right? They are a priority. You put them first because that's your babies. However, when it comes to the boyfriend situation, when you're dealing with that, you need to be able to be like, okay, this is a grown man. I do not need to protect him from my feelings. However, I do need to be honest about my feelings. I do not need to sit here and protect him from how I feel, and I shouldn't feel the need to protect him from how I feel. However, I need to rearrange my communication so that I can actually, he can understand me and digest it. Okay? That's what it is. And you're going to meet him the middle of this year. I feel like even to the end of summer, might be Leo season around there. So August. Mom hat needs to come off. Yes, because they are not your baby. He is not your baby. He is not your baby. None of these niggas is your babies. And you're being too kind to some of these motherfuckers by even giving them that grace and that amount of airtime. Because they look for that shit. They look for the mommy type of energy, and they use and abuse that and play into it. And it's ridiculous because all you want is help. You know, you want a healthy relationship. You want support. Treat someone with the same grace. You know what I mean? So Malibu, I saw you. I want to hit LP. LP, are you still here? Are you still up in here? Only one I let slide. He the worst one. See, baby. Like I said, you learn, and you learn very quickly, which I appreciate. What's your sign, Roll Hub? What's your sign? Even he cut off good. What's your sign? LP, if you still hear them, post up. Of course. Taurus. See, it's making sense now. It is making sense. As somebody with so much motherfucking Taurus in my chart, I air myself up type shit. I understand where the simmer comes from now. Because somebody catches you out of character type shit. Because what they do is they try to gaslight you. They try to intentionally get you riled up, and it works. And when you try to control your emotions, when you try to control the speed of your emotions, because what happens is you can sit through so much shit. You can sit through, you can be so mature about a lot of different things, but once somebody hits that fucking hair trigger, it's like waving a fucking red flag right in a bull's face. It's hanging a red fucking flag right in front of a bull's face, and you will fucking hammer that motherfucker down. But I need you to give your emotions enough space and grace not to go back to that and to go into the you now, right? The you now can walk away and breathe and be pissed off as hell and spend that somewhere else where it actually fucking matters versus I'm that motherfucker. And then you can come back around and you can have a conversation with that motherfucker. Don't poke the bear, yeah. No problem, you know I'll wait. I know, Malibu. I appreciate you. If LP isn't here, I'm gonna head right to you then. And my alarm did just ring, so I do have to leave soon. I do have to leave, probably after Malibu, to be honest with you. It's so unfortunate that this is short, but I will be back. Like I said, I'm feeling a new vibe, new energy. I love it. So no, I don't do none of that, and I walk away with confidence. Good. Keep your head. Keep your head. And if you need time to just like sit there and be like silent and quiet, where you're just like thinking things over instead of like tripping over your words type shit when you start getting angry type shit, and you just need time to just sit there. That's exactly what you say. Like, give me a minute. Just give me a fucking minute, or I gotta walk this off, and like I'll come back to you. Give me a minute. Come back. I am. Yeah. I posted today, and I'm gonna post more. I have 8 more videos in the queue. Have 8 more videos in the queue. I still have more that I have to film too, because I wrote down some channel messages for some signs. Taurus, of course, I wrote down some channel messages. Libra as well. So LP. Okay, I see you, LP. You got a question for me? I think you asked it earlier, but I seen your post. Okay, more are coming, more are coming. And I want to do longer ones later. LP, post up. What's your question for me? Be nice, I'm a Sag. I love Sagittarius. I love all the signs, really. When I catch y'all at your best. Basically elaborating. Okay, I can check it out. Let me check it out real quick for you. I have had such a dry spell. Let me check it out real quick for you. Real fast. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it's 10:30 here, so I need to leave soon. Okay. I keep running into my ex Scorpio, but I don't want him. Okay. Okay. Ooh, okay. Hmm. I can see that you don't want him. Yeah, I can see why you don't want him. I can see why you don't want him. It was just waiting on somebody who was never, ever, ever, ever going to like change to somebody that like genuinely appreciated you as a woman. Yeah, I see that. Yeah. You feel like you was the driving force in the relationship, that you was the only one trying to make things work. That's what it is. I'm choosy, which doesn't help, but you're not choosy, you have standards. That's what I want to keep in mind. So choosy is when you have your walls so wound up tight that you don't even try. I'm a guy, he was a guy. Okay, baby. You a guy, he's a guy, but I'm like, okay, I got you. Okay, so he and you, right? Let me describe the situation for you. You had the feelings. You also made the plans. Okay. You made him important in your life, right? Before he ever really truly tried to make you important. I feel like whatever this like kind of friendship situation is, sorry about that. Whatever this friendship situation was, however you guys kind of paired it, where you were like, okay, so maybe we should be more. I feel like there's a point in time where he stopped hearing your feelings, and I feel like you also stopped trying to make your feelings known. That I feel like is causing you a lot of collision within relationships now. Okay. It's like, well, they don't really care about that. It's like kind of the sentiment I'm getting. I know they don't care about that. Or it's like the assumption that somebody doesn't really give a fuck about what you're doing or who you are now. Okay. It's like you want, without telling somebody that that's what you want, you expect them to already kind of bring that to the table. Oh, okay, it makes sense. 6 year relationship. Okay, it makes sense on why you would feel that strongly. Like I said, it's not that I'm saying like you want somebody to like read your every emotion. However, I feel like you're still in that. You said you were closed up in the end. That makes sense because I feel like you still closed up now. Okay, you're repressing it, and you're repressing not only like the feelings of disappointment or hurt, but it just feels like you're repressing everything because you're afraid to challenge yourself again, to get hurt again. You're afraid of that level of rejection, because that level of rejection is so debilitating. It's super depressing. Okay, and I want you to be honest about that, because it is super depressing, like that level of rejection. Because you might not view it initially as rejection, because you're like, well, he just wasn't interested. I kept pushing. Yes, you have equal responsibility in this relationship, just as he did. 6 years, right? 6 years of it. But this is more of a situation of like how you felt, and I feel like that wasn't received by him at all, and because of that, you did not even receive it, because you didn't receive the grace or the reassurance that you needed from him as an individual, and nor are you receiving the grace for yourself. Okay. Like, nor are you doing that for you. Yes, you're trying to move on from him, but I feel like it's not even about him anymore. Okay, like in terms of who you're looking for, you're like, none of the new energies have any stamina type shit. They don't have the energy for me. It's not about him anymore. Okay, it's about you. So let's see. I think our love language, that's true. That is definitely true. And I also feel like he was not in a space at all for a romantic connection, and yet he accepted it because he felt like that was the only way to keep you there. Okay? That was his only way of keeping you there with him in his mind. Once things crossed a certain boundary or a certain level, he felt like that was the only way to keep you there. It was a fear of abandonment. Okay? And that's a huge problem. That's a huge issue. That's a really big issue. because you can't be like in a way, like I said, it's like you're just leading somebody on. You're creating space for somebody that they like. Maybe they did have feelings, maybe there was emotions there. However, they're creating a false space, a false foundation, and that's not fair. That's not fair. Okay. So now, moving into the new situations, right? The on and off again bullshit where you feel like people are too grown to be acting the way that they're acting. A lot of these situations are not going to be healthy, so you kind of stay away from them in a serious manner. I see like a new job situation here, new workspace coming in for you. I also feel like the protective bubble that you have for yourself has kind of created this, like, you're always kind of suspicious of other people. You feel like, I don't, like I said, I think you give it you give it a fair shot, you give it a fair chance, but again, you don't give yourself that. And because you don't give yourself that fair chance, like, I'm not saying you don't make yourself interesting to other people. That's not what I'm saying. Okay. And I'm not saying you lie necessarily about who you are as a person. However, I do feel like you tend to shoot yourself down before you even get the chance to ask certain things of other people. You have this tendency to be like, no, this person will think this is stupid. You hide a lot of yourself, a lot of your personal, like, pieces of growth. Okay. So though you give the opportunity, it's kind of like a false opportunity. And I'm not saying that because you're not, like I said, trying to be fair. You're trying to be fair, yes, but you're not being fair to yourself. I forgave sometimes too early. That makes sense. That makes sense. You're not being fair to yourself. There's still shame here. Okay. And they do talk about your family situation as well, being a part of that. There's still shame in who you are as a person. And this doesn't even just have to be your, being bisexual or whatever. It doesn't have to be that. It's more just as a person. Like I said, the deep fear of rejection, of hurt, of pain. Again and again and again, back to back. Like, can I really get up again after dealing with this again and again and again and again and again? And here's the key: you absolutely can. Okay. And you prove it to yourself every single day that you're walking out here, breathing out here, moving the way that you're moving, and still trying. Okay. But then also, you're going to have to loosen the reins a little bit, because you cannot control how these other people feel about you. Okay, LP? You cannot control the way that they view you just because you choose to kind of leave certain pieces of yourself out. I'm not saying you ought to go in-depth trauma mode and like talk about everything and this and this and that and just trust anybody with it, and be like so picky and choosy that you fucking lose a whole, like, I'm not saying that you. I'm just saying that you need to share more of your intimate life, your life experience. It doesn't have to be about relationships. You inspire people through the way you communicate, especially friends. You inspire people. And I feel like getting in that mode of becoming someone's friend first, like, that really hits you. Okay. But the aim and the goal needs to be communicated, which is a relationship. The aim and the goal should be the same. If somebody's sitting there like, I don't know what I want, that is not the person for you. I don't know, maybe I want a relationship, maybe I don't. That's not the person for you. It's the person I'm looking for, the same thing you're looking for. And if you still don't know, that's the type of people you're going to attract. However, you can decide any time that you want to be like, I want a relationship. I do. And you don't have to fear saying that to yourself. You don't have to fear that. Okay? You don't have to fear that. You're allowed that. You deserve that. You deserve that. You do. I have no crushes and no one giving me butterflies. You have to give yourself the damn chance. You got to put yourself out there. You got to put yourself out there. Like I said, sharing pieces of yourself and testing reactions, that only gets you so far. You got to share the whole fucking cookie, the whole pot. The whole pot. They're still talking about you not sharing all of yourself. I'm upfront about my goals in dating. Yes. About some things. About some things. Yeah. They talk, even on dating apps, there are people who are keen. Right. But I'm not just not vibing. Then they're not the right people. With anybody. See, like I said, I give the advice to some people to be like, oh, just be single for a while. Okay? But I don't get that vibe for you. Okay? I don't get that vibe for you. I just don't. And I know it gets exhausting, but I just don't get that vibe for you. I'm like, oh, just be single for a little while. Be individual. Go out and do your thing. In terms of long-term dating, I may be attractive on the surface, but that's all they see. Because you don't let them see the other pieces. No, yeah, but you can't expect them to know what you want without you saying it, okay? You need, and I know it sucks to have to continue to remind people that that's the situation, but that's the culture we live in. That's the culture we live in. Imagine meeting a person who's similar to you, right? You're like, well, I don't want to really date myself. That's not really the situation. Imagine dealing with somebody who's similar to you. Put yourself in the other person's shoes real quick. That's what I'm saying. Imagine it the other way around. Okay? Imagine the other way around. Is what I'm saying. As soon as I sense attachment issues, I'm checking out. You're doing, like I said, you're doing the right things. You are doing the right things. Or someone who isn't self-developing, I'm out. You're doing the right things. Okay? You just have to make sure that you're not keeping everything to your chest. You do have to share pieces of yourself. Minus the, like I said, the basic bullshit. Like, oh, what do you do for work? Oh, you do this. Oh, you do that. What are you passionate about? What are you driven about? What are you passionate about? Share that with people. Let them know. And the right person is going to be like, oh, shit. That's really fucking cool. Actually, like, I have a firm interest in that. Or maybe they're, like, just interested in hearing you talk about it. And they're like, yeah, well, this is what I'm passionate about. Like, sharing. Sharing is caring. It's hard, like I said, because a lot of people don't have follow through. I understand that. A lot of people lie too. But you can't resent them also for trying, I guess. Or resent yourself for trying is really what I'm trying to say. You can't resent yourself for trying. You're like, well, I already know what's out here. Like, that's an assumption. You don't. And that's exactly why you keep looking. Okay? That's exactly why you keep looking. Okay, LP? They talk about the air sign particularly for you. Okay? Talk about air sign, Aquarius, Libra, or a Gemini. Stay away from third party situations. So polyamorous relationships, stay away from that. You don't need that. You do not need that right now. They most definitely talk about staying away from that. You know, maybe, like I said, maybe there's curiosity in it. Maybe there's curiosity in checking it out and seeing what it is. But they say for you personally. stay away from polyamorous relationships or people who like to be in open relationships? Good, LP, because I see somebody here wanting to inquire about open relationships or polyamory. Okay, I see somebody wanting to do that. And you say I ain't messing with a Gemini. See, that's where the pickiness come in. That's where the pickiness come in. So what if the Gemini? They don't gotta be the same person you've been dealing with or that you been dealt with. All right. Just like I told another individual, write down what you want. You don't put in your dating bio, please, but write down what you want personally to yourself. I love Gemini's. Oh, okay. It was confusing a lot of my friends. Okay. I got you. I got you. I was gonna say shade. I ain't dating them hot. No, and you don't have to. Like I said, maybe like, come on now. Then again, I'm open. Good. 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 Stay open. Write it down. It's not stupid to do. I'm telling you right now. Just like I told the other individual, write that shit down to a T of what type of person that you're wanting. And yes, is it a form of manifestation? Yes. But I'm mostly telling you to do that because you need to see your own expectations on a fucking piece of paper. And that's not an embarrassing thing. That's not a horrible quality. It's just to get a picture in your mind of exactly what you're looking for. And then you can, I know you'll be like, well, I already know exactly what I'm looking for. No, you don't. And that's exactly why you came in here to ask a love related question, to ask what the fuck is going on in your love life. Okay? You don't know what you want. Do the list. I'm telling you, it's so important. It is so important. And it's for you. It is not for anybody else to see. If you don't want anybody else to see that shit, don't share it with them. That's for you. Okay? That is literally just for you and your own, like, your own self. People be like, oh, well, there's no such thing as being ready for a relationship or ready for this or ready for that. No, you could be ready. You could be ready to tackle the bullshit. You know what I mean? You could be ready to shoot the people down that you don't want. And I know you already doing that, right? I know you already doing that. But also at the same time, it's getting the emotions straight. The emotions straight. What do you need emotionally? What type of reassurance do you need? Financial stability, ideally owning property, emotional stability, self-aware, healthy conflict resolution. Expand on that. Be a little bit more specific. I agree with everything that you're saying, by the way. That's all very healthy. Everything you're saying is very, very healthy, and that's exactly where it should be. That's exactly where, but expand on that. In moments of need or of hurt, how would you want somebody to show up for you? Expand on that. I agree with everything you're saying, though. Very healthy. Ideally, you want somebody who's actually willing to work on those things with you. That's what you want. That's the idealism. It's just to be like somebody who's willing to work on it with me, to communicate and talk. No stonewalling. See, have you been to therapy, LP? No stonewalling. See, either you're very well studied, you've been to therapy, or you yourself are a therapist. And you probably do that for a lot for other people. You are probably already in that space where you help a lot of people with this shit, even if you don't have it. Get it, LP. I know you got this shit. I know you do. Write the list. Write the list. Specific situations that you feel like you it's not that you need somebody. You want somebody to show up for you. Maybe you're hitting a depressive point. These specific things that the individual can do to not heal you or like therapize you, but to just hear you, not heal you, just hear you in some type of way. Because these are all things that you're going to be talking about that your partner with. They're all things that you're going to have to kind of reiterate, regardless. I've also been to therapy and couples counseling. When my ex wanted to quit couples counseling, I saw no issues. That is when I called it quits. I just want a strong foundation to begin with. I understand. I get it. You are already a part of that strong foundation. I just want to clarify that. Especially with all the work that you have done. Even if it was in that particular situation, that relationship that was 6 years that you feel is by this point you're like, hey, it's great, whatever, I'm trying to get over it. I still feel the emotions there. You did the studying. You already did the studying, even if it was with that person that happened to be the wrong one. Wanted to just enjoy it and have fun. Yes. That's the shit I mean. That's the shit I mean. Somebody you can live life with who doesn't sit there. Oh, scared the shit out of me. Somebody you can live life with who doesn't sit there and criticize you, right? Or constantly make comments about how you can do things better or how you need to be perfect in some type of way or how you've changed. Like making commentary like that. That's all commentary you got to stay away from. You've changed. When you open up, it's like I get this like picture in my mind where it's like you finally open up emotionally and then somebody's like, wow, you've changed, like I'm not really into this anymore type situation. Somebody who can also accept all aspects of you, not just the one that's stable, the unstable one too, because you're stable now, you a monster type shit. You already have the fucking foundation, right? You already got that. It's just when you slip, when your foot is not, like I said, you slip over, you trip over your shoelaces type shit. Like you don't gotta gather me up and baby me and shit like that, but I want you to notice and I want you to acknowledge it and I want you to reassure me. Yeah, LP, yeah. That's all that healthy shit. You there? Reassure me. Take responsibility for the shit that you do as well. Take responsibility. Take action in correcting it. Don't tell me sorry and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Yes, apologize. But also understand what you did and correct what you did. Action. You want an action taker just like you. And I feel like, yes, in the dating pool, it is heavy and it's hard to find. However, it is out there. It really is. It is. You gonna be a teacher to the individual that you're gonna deal with as well. You already there. You already on that teaching level. But it's not gonna be to the extent to where they don't understand what you're saying, and that you have to sit there and baby them. I'm gonna give them big bottles, swallow them up, and rock them back and forth. It's more or less because you guys have both been on your own journey. You both have been through a significant amount of trauma and hurt in your life, right? So you need to learn from each other. And I feel like you're going to be learning fun from this one. You're going to actually learn fun and relaxation from this one. Okay? Definitely air sign, though. Gemini, Aquarius, or a Libra. Okay? Definitely. Malibu, you still here? You're my last one. Thank you, LP. I appreciate you. And also, like I said, everything you said, I remember from therapy. I remember that shit from therapy. Therapy has changed my life significantly. That you said Stonewall, I was like, oh, that shit popped in my mind like ding, 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 ding. You already built your foundation, LP. You just need someone to also co-create. Co-create. All right, Malibu. Let's see what we got. A little mini read. And you know I ain't gonna do this mini for you. I gotta give you a little airtime. Malibu. Libra. Okay. Venus. Humbled. We know these things. They say don't quit. Okay, don't quit. It's right there. What are y'all talking about here? What are y'all talking about here? Okay. First thing that I see, there is someone who is trying to attempt to help you that is genuine. That's the first thing that I see. Okay. He said, just pop my earbuds in. Okay, listen close. There is somebody who's going to help you here that is genuine. Genuine, however, I do feel like this comes with a clause. Okay. And the clause might be complicated. Whatever the complication is, I feel like this person might complain a lot or bitch and moan a lot about their life. That's kind of the clause. It's like there's something to do here with like them almost adding to your stress by communicating in the wrong way or even just coming at you in the wrong way. And you feel in some type of way, you're going to feel like because this person is helping you or you're receiving some sort of help at all, that you have to listen to this or you have to deal with this or in some type of way you have to be, responsible enough to deal with it. Okay. However, all that's required of you in this situation is to create a boundary. I don't like the sound of that. No, Malibu, don't shoot it down yet. I'm just letting you know. I'm letting you know, okay? You see, you don't have to like the sound of that, okay? But also at the same time, I want you to know that there's a solve for it, which is a boundary. Okay. You should not sit here and be expected to do that unless you're being paid to do it. First of all. Second of all, even if you are being paid to do it, it does not fucking mean you have to sit there and sort this person's life out, okay, for them. Does not mean you have to show up for them, especially if they have problems with showing up for you, okay? Shit, my brothers just asked me for help yesterday, my oldest brother, Gemini. They said family matters. That they also said no foundation. This person humiliated you or has humiliated you. Yeah. No matter how many times you help this individual, they're always going to be the same. You know that. They're always going to play the same games. Okay? And that's just too much stress for you. I do see something to do with here, like an anniversary or something like that, or some type of event, something of that nature that's going to be coming up here. Some type of event that's coming up. They're talking about you do find the funds for this situation as well. So finances, you do find the money for this situation as well, if you're worried about it. Okay. Yeah. So this person, you said him and the aqua got into it. I'm good. Okay. So that's where the boundary comes in. Okay. The drama. That's where the boundary comes in. That's what they're saying. The added stress of dealing with all that you've been through thus far, on top of another person's issues, on top of his issues particularly, that you feel like are never ending, okay? It just goes on and on and on and on. There's no resolution for him because there's always something wrong. He comes to you because he feels like he has nobody else that has a solid mindset like you do, regardless of what you're going through. However, not only do you have health issues, but you also have mental health issues where you need time to deal with your current situation without anybody interrupting that. And I know it's gonna be like, okay, well, I did answer the call, I did do this, I did do that. However, even though you answered the call, you need to be able to cement the boundary of like, I'm not feeling this today. I'm not feeling it. I can't do it. I'll listen another motherfucking day when I have the time and the energy, but it's not today. So shutting people down like that. And I feel like that's all across the board. I don't feel like it's just for the specific situation, but it's for multiple situations here. It's laying down boundaries. And I know you have the tendency maybe even to like avoid, like if I don't want to talk, I would just avoid him. But also, this is one of those situations where I feel like you need to say what you mean, not avoid it. Okay? It's something to do with addiction here. That's, whew, yeah. It's something to do with addiction. With some of these individuals, you just get so exhausted by it. I can see it in you. Even like I said, I feel like the moment that you have the energy to talk to somebody, that's all they talk about. There's just nothing fucking positive. And there's also no follow through or no action points on these people. It's like, we was just talking about like conflict resolution and all that type of stuff, but they don't have that built into them, and that they never will. They'll never listen to actual reason. No matter how many times you might say, well, just stop dealing with it, motherfucker. Stop doing this, stop doing that. And even you have been pulled into the situation multiple different times without even wanting to be pulled into the situation. They keep you linked to it. They keep you linked to it. They keep you linked to it. Yeah, drug issues again. They keep talking about it. Drug issues, or addiction issues in some type of way. Okay. Now, this is a brother that went to prison. Yeah, it's so like I said, like I said, I want to say this. They only ever care about you when it's about themselves. That's really what it is. That's literally all I see. It's like I can't, like I keep trying to, I'm like, okay, well, how does Malibu feel about this situation? How does Malibu feel about this situation? How do like every time I try to do that, it's like overwritten by another card that talks about them, because they truly do not care about how you're feeling or what you're doing within those moments. They just impulsively do it and expect you to respond and expect you to give them some type of fucking comfort that they never give you. They never gave you. Give them some type of fucking grace they never gave you, and they won't give you. It's crazy shit, because they almost want the drama. They're addicted to that type of shit. And so when you're trying to heal and you're trying to keep your anxiety down, you're trying to heal your heart, like literally physically, right? You're trying to heal your heart. You're trying to also, like I said, take a lot of different things off your mind. It's just, so I'll make it easy. I go the one that started the stuff about my daughter driving. Okay. Yeah. So all these connections are very one-sided. What do you do with that? What do you do with that? Because I know that with the toxic family members, you got to lay the boundary down. Like, do not contact me. Do not communicate with me. Like I said, unless I say that I want to be communicated with. Allow me to start the fucking shit. Don't be calling me all the time with the bullshit. You have to lay the boundary of just being like, I'm not always in the place to hear this shit or deal with this shit. I get stuck dealing with this shit because you want to bring it to my motherfucking attention. Can we talk about something else? Can we go on about something else? Can we stop talking about like this bullshit? If this is all you have to talk about, I'm just not going to speak with you right now. That's just not how it's going to go. You're not going to be able to control this shit with your addictive ass, fucking vindictive ass fucking personality. I'm not going to allow you to do that to me. You need to sit. This is a situation of like they're gonna get mad about the boundaries, right? And it's because they're immature. They act like children. They act like kids. And like you a grown ass man. So what the fuck are you upset about? What are you even mad about? Like you a grown ass man. Temper tantrum and all that type of shit. Well, oh my god, like it's like, oh, they'll accuse you of being the selfish one. You know what I mean? Immediately, the moment that you take time and space for yourself, they accuse you of it. Like, oh, you're the selfish one. It's like, well, I deal with it. They'll be like, oh, I deal with it worse than you do. They don't even know what the fuck you're going through. They don't listen. They don't listen to what you're going through. You could tell them a billion different times and they would never fucking remember. They don't fucking listen. Or they like to compare, contrast, and compare, contrast, and compare, contrast. Bro, it's like such an unhealthy way of communication. They nasty like that. They nasty like that. Man, yeah. They just nasty like that. Tell me more about Malibu. It's crazy to say because he wanted to put my name on his business and put the insurance in my name because him and my Aquarius brother got into it about some issue. They be putting you in the middle of everything, though you don't have. Like I said, they don't think about you. They don't think about your feelings. They don't think about your kids. They don't think about any of that shit. See how things aren't working all of a sudden, and one got a repo and the other one dealing with drug issues and almost got deported. Do you think I want to associate my name with that? Exactly. And you don't. I know that like this is a situation. I know you thought of it. Like I said, and I know you probably have tried to create the boundary, and they just keep breaking it. But this is also where you have to be like, how do I follow through my boundary then? If they just keep stepping over it. Right. How do I follow through with a boundary then? Because clearly, nothing you say ever really gets put into perspective. Nor do they ever better their life in any type of way. Nor do they ever listen. Like this is the this is the damage. Second, other than that, I'm good where y'all trying to get my kids taken away from me and everything. I'm good. I've been over backwards too many times for family. Yeah. That's how I feel about it too. Just looking at it, I'm just like, these motherfuckers are so disrespectful. They have no respect for you at all. And I feel like there's pieces like there's pieces of you that respond, but there's also like sometimes you shut down. It's just because you're taking so much stress, and then you might even get into a situation where like now yes you're sitting there, you're having to cuss them out or be like, can you shut the fuck up? Like you work yourself up because they're trying to work you up. They're trying to include you in on the drama and get you worked up. And then throughout the rest of the day, sometimes you feel distracted by it, or you feel like that's all you can like kind of go back and think about. It's just too much stress. Like they make you feel fucking crazy because they're crazy. Yeah, they said Looney Tunes. Tune down. You know what I mean? They said Looney Tunes. Yeah, you gotta those situations. Those are all something that I feel like by this point. They haven't learned it. They don't listen. It might be time for a block. At least until you get yourself situated. Might be time for a block. Might be time for a block. And that's only something I'm allowing you to decide on doing. Because like I said, I feel like it's super important for you to take that step. I'm not the deciding point on that. But also at the same time, from what I see on how much stress, like I said, they end up bringing in for you, I feel like it's that time. Can I get a reading? Lena, I saw your message, and after I'm done with this particular reading, I'm going to hop off. However, you can catch me any other time I'm alive. If you just subscribe, hop on, you'll get the notification type shit, and you'll see me on, and I can give you a reading. For free, because I've never seen you around. My turnaround season coming, I don't know when, but it is, and they're not going to be a part of it. They shouldn't be. They don't bring nothing to the fucking table. They're phony ass motherfuckers. New job. New job. New job. Walk that walk. Crazy ideas pay off. New job is coming in. New job is coming in. Okay. Yep. They talk about healthiness or health, your health particularly. It's been way better on your health. They're gonna allow you to do it. It's coming soon too. Yeah, it's coming soon. Like I said, in these next 2 months. Yeah, Lena. Like I said, I'll come back around. But it's in these next 2 months or 3 months. New job. New potential job situation. I don't feel like you have to actually travel far for it either. So that's what it's looking like. You do have a new job situation. You say your turnaround season. Maybe it's already here. January, like I said, new year, start of the new year. It could start out rocky, but like I said, that season's already here. You gotta just trust in that type shit. Stop dealing with these idiots. Because they're so disrespectful like that. And I know that, like, in some type of way, you know, your children are involved with the situation. Like, but it might be time to just be like, no. We're not going to do that. Block a motherfucker. Yeah, they said new life. You're looking for new, meaningful relationships, healthy relationships, whether that be friends, whether that be love. You're just trying to get yourself, you know, healthy. They keep saying, they be talking about, oh, you're beautiful, you're a star. Like, that's what Spirit be saying. Spirit's like, you're beautiful, you're a fucking star, you're fucking cool as shit, you're awesome, you're confident. You're going to feel very confident coming up here, too. I feel like this is March. Yeah, March. The March people are going to be like, there's people that know you that are going to be like, yo, damn, you acting mean as shit. But it's only because, like I said, they don't respect you. So you're not going to respect them. And you're going to create the fucking boundary and continue to avoid them. You're not going to let them attach to you no more like that. That's like on some baby shit. They be acting like fucking children. That shit pisses me off. And it's not even my life. That shit pisses me off. Yeah, they said freedom here. Like I said, new job. It's a new job. And let's see. What's coming from Malibu? Looking for a little positivity. There is also potentially a kind of romantic situation. Look more like a strictly dickly situation coming up. I see opening up to... What is this? Opening up to what? Like I said, I feel like it's a new job or job situation. You start opening up to the idea of this new job situation. Maybe someone tries to sell it to you. Like I said, I don't feel like you've gotten it yet, though. That's what I mean. I don't feel like somebody's actually spoken to you about it just yet. It's not something from before. It's not from your loser ass fucking brother. Or he's fucking, like I said, trying to stress you out. New job with Joe. Yeah. That's what I'm going to say. It's new job. Maybe it's because you haven't heard back from it just yet. But it's a new job. Like I said, there's not much travel that you're going to have to do for this particular situation. If you're worried about that or worried about your car. Yeah. It's not somewhere you're going to have to travel far for. And then there's something to do with like getting back to normalcy in some type of way. Okay? Getting back to normalcy. And this is the next 3 months. Getting back to normalcy. Somewhat normalcy. Living your new life. Yeah, because you're so sick of moving where you feel like you're moving and doing things without like actual purpose. You're still trying to find your purpose. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't matter how old you are. We all are in that space, right? But they really be talking about the new job situation big time. And it's going to be a great time for it as well. Beginning of the year. Yeah. What is this? Let's see. I was trying to get more specific on the new job situation. Again, it has to be soon, just because they keep fucking talking about, like, they keep going through the months of the week type, or the months of the days of the week, not months of the week, days of the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They keep saying that shit. New house, new car. Are those things that you're also looking into? New house, new car. Yep. Yeah, that's the type of normalcy you want. You want security, and I don't blame you. Just don't allow anyone to now trigger your emotional security, okay? Because you're already struggling. You just don't want people fucking with your mental and your physical right now. You can hold it. I know you can. You can hold out. Yep. All right. What time is it? All right. 11:24 already. Damn. Time fly by. I haven't been out here that long. All right. I do have to hop, skip, and step. I do gotta go. However, you will see me again. Especially next week. You will see me again. You will see me again. They said something about a water sign as well coming in. Looks to me like this situation is water sign business partner. So maybe this is Joe. So there's two separate job opportunities, okay? There's two separate ones. There's one new one that you're going to figure out about pretty soon here. Maybe he's offering you like the choice of two different positions. But yeah, that's coming soon, literally. Like I would even say whether it be at the end of this month or middle of next month. It's really very, very, very soon. That's all they can really talk about. Good morning, Emily. Emily, I am hopping off of live stream. However, catch me on the next one. Subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and catch me on the next one so you can ask me a question. All right, y'all. Thank you so much, Malibu. I appreciate you. Thank you, Mr. Rita. Thank you, everybody who showed up, type shit, and listen. Y'all, it's a new year. That's all I gotta say. New year. It doesn't have to be a new you. It's just you gotta know what you want this year, type shit. It's like Santa Claus. Okay, you gotta know what you want. And you gotta aim for that shit. Don't just allow it to come to you or walk towards you, type situation, and move at snail pace. You actually gotta ask. You gotta ask and take action, and you shall receive. In Malibu, you already taking action. A lot of y'all are. Okay. It's just keeping your mind right while that's happening, keeping afloat while it's happening. All right, y'all. I appreciate you, and I hope y'all have a wonderful fucking afternoon, wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.